Hey, hi, this is Everett. Everett's Watercolors, and I'm simply drawing with Everett tonight at 7:30 p.m. I'm broadcasting on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitch, and I'll be doing a replay on Instagram. I'm live tonight with my wife Gloria in the studio,
Hello.
and she'll be monitoring the broadcast and also checking the chat room. Chat room's live, so if you have questions or comments during the program, write them down. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I appreciate that. Give me a like and a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're brand new. Give me a thumbs up. All those things are appreciated to support my program, and they're all important. Okay. What I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to draw some water drops. So let me take you over to my drawing table, and let's talk about drops. Okay, here I've got a couple photographs. Everybody's seen drops on every once in a while. Let me go through. I'm going to show you the anatomy of a drop, of a water drop. We got the water drop here on this. Happens to be on a leaf. But if you take a look, I'm going to take this one right here, for example, right here. The light source is opposite the reflection. So the cast shadow. If you see the cast shadow down here at the bottom, the light source is on the other side. So the light source is coming down, and the cast shadow is on the bottom. Right at the top of the droplet, it's a little bit dark because that's where the light's hitting the raindrop or the water drop, and that's going to be darker there. And the reflection is where the light source enters the drop, and there's an exit. There's an exit point here at the bottom of the drop, and there's a little reflection here. You can see. I see it. There's a couple more I can show you here. This one over here on this side, you can see the reflection point down here. That's the exit point of the light source coming in. There's an entrance into the reflection. It goes through the drop and exit out at the bottom. And you can see the shadow here, the cast shadow, and there's a dark shadow at the very top where the light's coming in. Okay, so that's the anatomy of a drop. Now let's go talking about drawing a water drop. So let me take. I got some material tonight. I'm going to use my video journal, which is used for mixed media. It's 100% cotton. It's archival. It's also vellum finish, so you can use watercolor on it. You can use crayons. I'm going to use it tonight with colored pencils and with pencils itself. It measures about 5.5 by 8 inches, so it's a nice portable version. I take this on my plein air sketching every weekend. So I'm going to turn that over, open this up to a clean page. So we're going to use the visual journal for my drawing, and then I've got some pencils here. I'm going to do a droplet in regular pencils first of all. I've got an HB pencil, a 2B, and a 4B. Three shades of pencils. I've got a blender, a stump, which we'll use to blend it, and I've got a kneaded eraser to erase any of the construction lines. And a couple of things here. If you got some coins or anything that's round, that makes a nice circular shape. So let me get started here. I'm going to take the HB pencil, which will give me the lightest line, and I'm going to take this, put it on the paper. I'm going to draw around this. This happens to be a nickel. Actually, I want a little bit. Let me get the other side. That's good. I'm going to use the nickel. That's good enough. Okay. Let me look over here. Oh. Hi, Brazen Spiritual. How you doing? Good to see you aboard. Thanks for watching in. I got several coins here. I could have used a nickel. I could use a dime or a penny. So, or anything round. A cup to a bottle would be fine. Anything that's round gives you a starting point. So I used the nickel, and I sketched around it. Give me a circular shape, because the raindrop here is circular, so I use that. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify the light source. I'm going to draw a line here with an arrow. Okay, that's the light source. And right above that is where the sharpest line is going to be. It's going to be the darkest line right here. That's going to be more of a shadow. And then I'm going to put the highlight. It's because it's a circular shaped drop. I'm going to make a highlight circular. Okay. And then opposite the highlight was going to be the cast shadow. So the cast shadow is going to come down here, and that's going to be one of the darker areas. The cast shadow. Opposite that's this cast shadow. I'm going to make a little shape down here, and there'll be an opening here. Here at the bottom. Okay, now we get started here. So let me show you what I've got drawn here. I got the circular shape. I've got the source of light coming in here. There's the highlight at the very top, and at the bottom I've got this is going to be a cast shadow down here at the bottom, opposite the highlight. Highlights here, cast shadows over here, always. Okay, so I'm going to start with the HB pencil, and I'm going to use circular motion now. Just take circular, and I'm going to start shading in the shadow. Now, I could use any of these drops here as a sample. This here's one here I could take right here. This one over here. You see, I'm putting the shadow up here opposite the light. The light's coming down. So this is the shadow side up here. So that's what I'm putting in. So I'm going to use a circular motion. I'm going to follow the circular shape of the drop. And this is more, what I'm doing is I'm using the background, more or less the background value here. But this is always darker, right around where the highlight is. I'm going to use circular motion to go around. And as I come closer, as I get across past the highlight, I get lighter and lighter and lighter. I don't want to get too heavy yet. I'm going to start here very lightly. I go down a little past halfway. Okay, then I'm going to start shading in, going the opposite side, which is the cast shadow. That's on this side of the drop. And that's going to be much darker. It starts out to be much darker here around the shadow. Much darker than what's on inside of the raindrop or the water drop. Okay. Okay, so I got it started now. It's starting to look almost like a drop already, just from doing that much there, just doing a simple shading at that point right there. Okay, so now we're going to take the 2B, and I'm going to start darkening it in a little bit more. Now 2B is a darker lead, so I'm going to add a little more value up here at the top. It'll always be darker. It'll always be darker at the top of the raindrop or water drop, opposite the source of light. And it'll be a highlight there where the light's hitting the surface. There'll be a highlight. In this case, it's circular because it's a circular shape. Okay, and then I go down. Now I'm going down into the cast shadow. Now I'm going down into the cast shadow, which is in the bottom, opposite the light source, would be the cast shadow. That's going to be very dark along the brim there, very dark. And then it fades out a little bit as we go away from the water drop. It'll shade down a little bit lighter. Okay, now I'm going to take the eraser and I'm going to take out that there's a little bit extra mark there. I'm going to take that out. And okay, now I'm going to go in with the final shading, which is going to be the 4B. I got a 4B pencil. So now I'm going to go in now, really do very dark, right along the edge of that top of that water drop right there. And then at the bottom edge, in the cast shadow. Now down here, this light exit, the light actually goes through the bubble or the drop, and actually goes through, and there's an exit point at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do now is take the blender now. I'm going to blend in this dark area and shade it in, get some more. Now this is the final touch, is the blending process. And I'll get lighter and lighter and lighter as I get to the closer to the exit point. I take a lot of pressure off and just very barely touching the paper, very barely touching the paper. Then I'm going to go underneath now and get a little bit darker around the shadow. And I'm going to mark out, I'm going to take out a little bit of that with the eraser, just correct a little mention there. And then I'll go back to take the HB. I'm going very lightly now. I'll go into that last little area.
We have a question.
Question, yes.
Will any size blending tool work, or does it need to be?
Doesn't make any difference, no. The question was size of blending tool. I'm using kind of a middle size stump. You could use a tortilla, you could use, you can actually use your fingers if you wanted to, blend it. So a piece of paper. The size doesn't matter. As long as the blending it will help get us a lighter value. Now I'm going to take a little bit off with the eraser, just a touch. Blend it up a little bit more with the eraser. Okay. Okay, that's a quick and dirty example of the drop. You got the reflection and you got the exit value going out the bottom. Now let me do another one. And I'll start with the instead of drawing it with a coin or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and use just use freehand. This one I'll give a little shape to it. We'll give a little shape to this one. But the same thing applies. Now I'm going to make the light. I'm going to have the light coming from over this direction, just for a change. So my highlight will be on this side of the water drop. I'm going to shade the top part next to the light, and then at the bottom is going to be near the cast shadow. It's going to have a dark edge. The cast shadow. And the cast shadow is a shadow that comes off the bottom of the drop. So now I'm going to shade it in. I'm going to take the 2B and then, take the 2B, put a little darker up here. And the cast shadow will be dark also. Okay, now I'm going to take the blender now and just do. The blender helps to give you a graded value. Now go back. I got to get a little more marks down here. So I'm adding a little more graphite here at the bottom. And then I'm going to blend this. I'm going to blend this in. The top is dark, opposite the light. And you got the highlight. Then you got the cast shadow. And what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of that off and come down with the HB. Okay, and then I'm going to use the eraser to take out a little bit more, get a little lighter there in the reflection or in the highlight. There, that's better. So this one has a slight different shape to it because it's got a longer shape to it. I wanted to do that just as a demonstration. And I use the eraser to clean up a little bit of the lines, just a little bit, smooth it out a little bit, and use the blender to smooth out the shadow. Okay. So that's another drop of a longer shape and so forth. Okay. So that's basically how I would do it with a pencil. Now let's go ahead and do a color pencil. Now the color pencil I'm using the Holbein. I'm using the Holbein color pencils here, which I have on my website, everestwatercolors.com, and I'm going to use a couple of those. I'm going to do a red. I'm going to use a penny this time. So I'm going to take. I'll go use a circle. I'll put the circle in. So here I'm using colored pencils. And the red is going to be the, if you look at this photograph, the background shade here of this photograph is yellow. Okay, I could have done yellow and green. I have another photograph here of a blue flower. And you can see in the drop itself, the background shadow or background color is the color of the subject. In this case, the blue flower. In this case, a yellow green leaf. So it's going to have a background shade to it. So in this case here, I'm going to take let's have the light coming. We'll do the same thing. We'll have it come from over here. So I'm going to put the light source out here. So I'm going to draw in the reflection. Okay, then I'm going to start shading in the value. In this case, I'm going to start in with the background value. It will be a little bit. It'll be red. I'm going to make it red. I'll leave the highlight open. Leave it white paper for right now. Even though this would be say this was over and I'll show you in a minute. Even if this is over a red surface, the highlight's still going to be white because it's the brightness of the light. That reflection there, right there, is the light source. The light source coming in here, hitting there. Okay, then we got the cast shadow, which is down here opposite the light source is a cast shadow. And it's going to have an exit. It's going to have an exit point. The light's going to come out the bottom of the drop, opposite the source of light. Okay, now I'm going to pick up another. This one happened to be scarlet. This color here is scarlet. Okay, open stock 144, 044. Okay, I'm going to pick up another color, carmine. And it's a little darker red. So I'm going to take the darker red now and put in that back edge opposite the light, right there where the light comes in. That's where there's going to be a dark shadow, just like we did with the pencil, with the graphite. It's going to have a dark edge up here, right next to the highlight. And then underneath in the cast shadow, it's also going to be dark, right along the edge. It's going to be very sharp edge, and it's going to blend out. Okay, and then I'm going back to the scarlet color again. I'm going to go now very lightly. When I shade, I'm using the side of the pencil, the side of the lead, very lightly, to shade in the lighter color. Okay, now I have a blender now. I'm going to use that. I have a plain blender here. This happens to be a Prismacolor blender. This happens to be a blending pencil. for colored pencils. And what that does is blends the, it actually pushes the pigment into the paper. That's what I'm doing. I'm smoothing out the color here on the paper with the blender pencil. Okay. And then I'm going to come down here to the cast shadow, which is very dark underneath. And then you got a cast shadow goes on out, and this is the exit. The light actually goes through the bubble or through the droplet, and it goes out onto the surface. Okay, so that's what that's going to look like. You got the light source, you got the reflection, and then you got the exit point at the bottom there. Okay, that's our colored pencil. Now, what I want to show now is that what happens is that the background, if I go ahead and put the background in, this object, whether it be a water drop or whatever this object is, this could be a flower. It could be a flower surface. I draw a lot of. If I draw roses with a colored pencil, I would put say a dewdrop on the rose or flower petal. Then that would be the background color of the flower, which is what I'm putting in right now. And on top of that, you would put the raindrop or the dewdrop on top of that. So I'm kind of simulating there the background color of say the flower, whatever the surface is. Okay, and I could do the same thing here now. I'm going to go back, use my HB. I could do the same thing here with the graphite. I can take a graphite pencil and do the same thing. I'll shade that around. This is the background surface color. It's just going to be a light gray. That would be the background value around the raindrop or water drop. So whatever that is, whatever that surface is, whether it be a flower or a brick wall or whatever you're putting it on, that would be the surface you would put. That'd be the background color or background value. It'd be lighter. So the values on the water drop is always going to be a little bit darker because you got shadows. The source of light is going to cast a shadow on that water drop. That's what you're seeing. That's what gives it the shape. The shape of the shadows is what gives it the shape of the drop. Okay. You can always go back in and play with the shading and so forth. You can always you can go back in and do another layer. Make this highlight really strong. Now I can take the blending pencil. Just my blending pencil. Where is it? Oop, did I put it aside somewhere? Did I leave it somewhere? No, I can't use that blender. Oh, here it is up here. It slid off my table. Okay, so this is the blender for the color pencil. This is a blender pencil for the color pencil. And any blender pencil would work with this. I didn't want to use the liquid blender tonight. I wanted to use the one I'm using now. Okay, I'll bring that on down. Darken this up a little bit more. Cast shadow. Hey, the darker we make this sky, I'm going to put one more red on it. This is signal red. It's really a dark red. I'm going to go one more time on this red. One more. So I'll go underneath here. This is the darkest part of the shadow right here. Right next to that white. That's going to make it really pop. And same way up here. It's going to make it really pop around that white. Okay. And another thing I've used also in my drawings, I can use a gel pen. This is a white gel pen. And I can take the gel pen with white, and if I want to, I can go in there and really add extra white here on top of the color, especially around the rim down here, because that rim has a that's the exit light, or the exit area of the drop. Okay. So to see that up close, you can see now I've done, that red really shows up very nicely, okay? So that's a demonstration there of doing a raindrop with the graphite pencil. Put the circle in. I used a coin, or you can use any kind of circular shape to do that. And then you identify, you locate the highlight area, which would be a circular form, and then opposite that would be your exit point, and this would start to be a lighter area. And then you'd have reflection, you'd have your cast shadow at the bottom, opposite the reflection light. And then this is always going to be a little lighter down here at the bottom of the, and it gradated the same way. It doesn't matter what kind of shape it's on. You're going to have a reflection, a highlight, and then this is going to be an exit point, and it's going to show through to the bottom. And if you look at these photographs, I've shown this before. Here's one right here, very, very vivid. The light's coming in here, the dark edge here. There's the highlight there, and at the bottom you see the shadow, and there's a little light source right there. That's the exit point right there. The exit point of the shadow. Here's one over here on this particular one. So you can take any photograph that you have and come up with a nice picture of what it should look like, and then you draw it, and you can make it even more dramatic, like that. Okay, let me show you. I'll show you a couple other examples. I was playing around with the shapes and so forth. Here's another example here of a couple circular. These are all freehand. I didn't do any circles, but I just drew. I drew in a circular shape with freehand, and it's different sizes. And I had one here long, and I had one here look kind of a shape I did tonight also. Okay. But those are some samples there. You can sit there. Once you get started on raindrops or water drops, it doesn't end. You can cover the whole page with shapes and so forth. Okay, so there's some samples I've done. I've been practicing before the class. This is tonight's live demonstration right here. I'll flip this over. These are some earlier ones I did also for practice. You see, I did a green one, I did a yellow one, and I did a red one. And these are all graphites over here, okay? So those are samples of the drawings. I showed you the anatomy of the water drop, and I showed you the parts of how you would do that.
Comment was that also might make a nice center for a brooch.
A what?
For a brooch, a piece of jewelry, that it would be like a stone.
Oh yes, anything that has a reflection on it of any kind. You take a water glass or anything, but raindrops are very important. Sometimes jewelry, you can get a nice shadow pattern out of that. Jewelry is like going through glass. That's a little bit different than a water drop. A water drop has got a shape to it, where say a glass or something like that has its own different shape, and jewelry has another kind of shape. But you can study those reflections and colors and so forth, and you can draw them up. This gives you an example here of how to do it, okay? So that was tonight's demonstration, which I think turned out very nicely. And I'm going to be coming, let me go back to my main camera. Okay, thank you much for looking in. I enjoyed doing that. Water drops are a lot of fun. I do water drops, raindrops, dewdrops. They all look the same, but a little bit, some of them have different shapes. And you can find photographs of different shapes, or you can actually find them in real life when it's raining or whatever, or even in your own kitchen. Just have a glass with condensation on it, and you'll find a drop. Just try drawing those as you see them. Try them from real life. Okay, they all work out the same way. Tonight was just to try to help you how you would draw that, how you would take that and translate it into a drawing, into the pieces. So it's probably very simple when you do it, and once you do one, it's easier and easier. I'll be back again next week, 7:30 on Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm also earlier. I'm on at 2 o'clock on Thursday with my Everest Watercolors. I do my Everest Watercolors demonstration with watercolors. And at 7:30 I do a simply drawing with Everett. And I've been enjoying it. I've been on now for like this is episode number 28. That's just about halfway through the year. That's like 6 months. So this is episode 28 if you want to keep track of the numbers and so forth. Now, all the other episodes are on my website, and also on you can find them on Everest Watercolors on YouTube. All the episodes are on there. So if you want to look up an episode for drawing, you'll find them on Everest Watercolors on YouTube. And it'll also be on my website, everestwatercolors.com. Okay, well, I'll be back again next Thursday. And until then, happy holidays, happy Christmas, and stay safe. And don't overdo anything. That's my advice. So you all take care. So bye.